right, let me repeat that. If we ever close above that topping tail high, that is a negation of the bearish topping tail. You should expect price to go up to at least 25,000, potentially close to 30,000.
Hey guys, welcome back to Library of Wealth. Today we have Gareth Soloway giving us an update on the current chart patterns for Bitcoin and the crypto and stock market. Soloway points out bullish sentiment right now for Bitcoin and has identified a support level of $25,000 that could increase to $30,000 right away. As of the recording of this video, Bitcoin's price is just under $24,600, an increase of more than 12% in the last 24 hours alone. If Bitcoin closes above the $25,000 high, it could trigger a bullish reversal and drive the price to $30,000, which is not far off from the 2022 price in February of $38,000. Soloway considers this level to be pivotal for Bitcoin, and if reached, would put Bitcoin closer to its all-time high. Let's get right to the interview with Gareth Soloway as he gives his latest update for Bitcoin, crypto, and where the market is headed in the next few months. If you enjoy the content we do here, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Let's get right into the video.
Now, if we look at Bitcoin, guys, this is a topping tail here. Topping tail is a specific candle formation that probabilities, again, probabilities are everything. Probabilities dictated that when you get a topping tail and it fits the criteria, that now you have a top in the chart. I said that on that day. Since then, we had 1, 2, 3, 4 down days, 1 bounce, another down day, and a big fall. We broke this level here. The reason why that's so important is because you now have a negation of any bullish consolidation. This was bullish consolidation even with the topping tail. It was sideways chop. You've now broken below the low of that bullish consolidation. Now, you will have support on Bitcoin right here. This is your FTX beginning drop over here. So if I zoom out, FTX news came out here. It fell. We hit it right here. You can see how it pulled back and then broke out. This will now be a scene of the crime support. If that breaks, and by the way, that's around 21,300. If that breaks, there's no support until 18,400. Okay. Now on the upside, let's take both sides. A good trader looks at both the positives and the negatives, the upside and the downside. If we ever close above that topping tail high, all right, let me repeat that. If we ever close above that topping tail high, that is a negation of the bearish topping tail. You should expect price to go up to at least 25,000, potentially close to 30,000. All right. Now, again, that's a big if. When does that happen? I mean, eventually it'll happen in the next bull cycle, whenever that is. But that's what I would watch for on the other side. Let's take a look at ETH. I know you guys love your ETH. Look at this, guys. This is not good news for Ethereum. Ethereum had this channel that I've talked about in my daily crypto videos. Look at the break below the line. You closed below. Now, you haven't confirmed. So there is a small, albeit small, chance it can get back above that line. If it doesn't and it confirms, you'll have minor support at 1,500, and then there's no support until 1,325. Okay, so that's kind of, it's definitely like it's borderline breakdown here. I wouldn't classify this as a full-fledged breakdown because it hasn't confirmed the break yet. But it is like it's hanging on by a nail, like one finger's on the cliff and it's hanging over the cliff at this point. All right. So again, makes sense. If Tesla's going to pull back, if Nvidia, those are risky risk assets, it makes sense that crypto could be in trouble. Does it also make sense that if the dollar is making a bull flag and it breaks up, that we could also see crypto fall in this chart? Yes, it does. It all should align, right? And again, it doesn't mean it's always going to work out perfectly. We never invest 100% of our assets into anything, because any one of my trades could be wrong. Trust me, I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. But by diversifying out amongst multiple different trading opportunities, we limit our risk. And then again, if you're going to bat, let's say in general, I bat 70 to 80%. So 70 to 80% of all my trades are successful, right? That's generally what my history has shown. What that means still is that 2 to 3 out of every 10 are going to be wrong. So I can't bet the farm on one trade, because what if that's one of the 2 or 3 that's going to be a bust? So what I do is I spread my money out amongst those, knowing that the overall win rate will be there by using technical analysis. And that then gives me an overall net positive gain in my portfolio.
Soloway then turns his attention to the S&P 500, the US dollar, and Ethereum. He observes a breaking lower for the S&P and Ethereum, but sees a bull flag for the US dollar, which suggests that the dollar could start to move higher, and risk assets such as stocks, Bitcoin, and the crypto market will likely experience more downside. Soloway reiterates to diversifying your portfolio to mitigate risk and generate overall gains.
The S&P 500, we'll look at this. We did have a breakout above this scene of the crime here. So what does this mean? If we were to pull back to this level, what is that telling us? This should be a bounce. Would it be a long-term investment? Nope, not according to what I just said over the, about markets going down. But could we get a little trade here? Absolutely. And then honestly, I would probably look for it to go and break lower. Eventually, it's going much, much lower on the S&P, but this would be a trade right around 393, 392 on the spiders if we got down there based on this classic retrace, again, to the scene of the crime. Let's go right over to the dollar. What's the dollar doing? Now, remember, the dollar is absolutely a inverse indicator for the markets and for risk assets. Bottom line is this is a bull flag formation on the dollar. The US dollar, again, is putting in a bullish consolidation pattern. What can we extrapolate from this setup? What's the probabilities? And remember, everything technical that I do is all about probabilities. So ultimately what this means is whether or not the dollar goes up today or next week, this is telling us probabilities are the dollar is going to start to move higher. What does that mean for risk assets? Should we expect upside in the market or downside? And the answer is downside. In the crypto markets, would we likely see more downside? The answer is yes as well. If the dollar is moving higher, we likely will see downside in risk assets. All right, where would the dollar go in terms of a short-term target if this bull flag does start to play out? The answer is pretty easy here, right? So you have this little area right here. And again, this would be my target on the dollar. This is where I would consider buying Bitcoin again for a quick trade, or I would consider buying some stocks or the S&P or the NASDAQ. Look at this pivot low right here. Let me zoom in a little bit. This pivot low with this pivot low, with this high, with this high. See how it all aligns? That tells you there is a major level there that's going to be resistance. It's a former level that was huge. We've been away from it for a little time. So if the dollar rallies up, 105.50 essentially is going to be big resistance.
As Soloway shares his analysis, he does see trade opportunities in the stock market if the index were to pull back to a specific level, but he doesn't view it as a long-term investment. With Bitcoin being a major player in the crypto market this year, the next few weeks will be extremely important, as we could be looking at potentially major resistance levels. Another one of his targets is Ethereum, which Soloway says has recently broke below a key channel and warns that it could be in trouble. If it fails to recover, it could face minor support at $1,500 and then no support until it reaches just above $1,300. Soloway does provide valuable insights into the current market conditions, but what do you think about Soloway's prediction for Bitcoin, Ethereum, the S&P, and the dollar? Comment down below. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This is Library of Wealth. We'll see you in the next video.